from a higher perspective. April 7, 2015. Dear Earth Ones, as you realize, we galactics have different kinds of information to share, from a different perspective and often with different people. Of course, the information and people only appear different to your 3D perspective. We see you all as one personal planetary being. Just as you see the parts of your body to be different, but they are all parts of you, we see different members of humanity to all be you. As you, humanity, expand your consciousness perceptions into the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension and beyond, your inner experiences and how you interpret them will greatly change. We ask that you now close your physical eyes and perceive us with your third eye. Do you perceive all the 3D clutter inside your brain? Before we begin, we ask you to collect all the clutter into your heart and love it free. You are now in the process of remembering how to be the master of your mind. Mastery of your mind is the forerunner for your process of ascension. All ascended beings had to become the master of their 3D minds prior to their ascension into their higher dimensional expression. Once the mind is mastered, it can be connected infinitely with your multidimensional mind. The constant unconditional love flowing through your connection with your multidimensional mind will greatly assist you to become the master of your emotions. The key to becoming the master of your emotions is to release your 3D habit of reacting to life. Via your higher dimensional thoughts and emotions, you can release your old habit of reacting to stimuli. Instead, you will be able to observe stimuli as you read it via your higher states of consciousness. From the perspective of your higher consciousness, your thoughts and emotions do not need to react to life because you know that it is you this is choosing/creating your life. In the higher dimensions, choosing and creating are the same terms. You choose to create your reality by choosing to attach your consciousness to that which you have chosen to attend. Where your attention is, there you are also, is one of the most important aspects of ascension process. Another important aspect is, there are no mistakes or accidents during ascension, as you are the creator of your reality. As you monitor and take full responsibility for the frequency of your thoughts and emotions, you will increasingly flow into an ongoing awareness of the higher frequency thoughts and emotions that are infinitely within you. We send you this preamble to our message because we want you to know that as your consciousness expands, you will begin to perceive the myriad higher dimensional friends circling your planet. Remember, you may not see these friends via your 3D perceptions, but via your fifth dimensional and beyond perceptions. To summarize, your third dimensional, outward-focused perceptions may not reveal our presence. It is true that we can, and do, briefly lower our frequency into the third dimension to remind you all that we are here. However, just as you could not stay at the bottom of the ocean for too long without making special adjustments, we cannot stay in the third dimension for too long without making major adjustments. For one thing, we are timeless beings who flow within the now. You know that time is different in different states of consciousness via your dreams. You could have a dream that seemed to last for a lifetime and awake to see that your clock has only added a few minutes of your time. We will explain to you how we perceive you, our dear friends, wearing physical vessels. For one thing, to look into your reality, we must look through the 3D matrix. The 3D matrix contains the frequency plate that you perceive as your physical world. To see you in this manner, we must recalibrate our perceptions into lower frequencies. This recalibration is much like the calibration that you use with binoculars where you turn the wheels at the base of the binoculars to adjust your perspective. In this same manner, we adjust our perspective down in frequency from our innate perception to see reality in the manner that you perceive it while wearing your earth vessel. We will explain this recalibration process with visualization, as only your imagination could understand what we are saying. You might say that we have a bird's eye vision of your dimension, as we look down in frequency, not space, to perceive the beautiful 3D vision of Gaia's blue orb. You have all seen this vision via your space stations. However, these pictures only reveal the third dimensional qualities of your planet. Furthermore, The pictures that your known space programs, as there are many unknown space programs, share with you, are greatly altered to hide their many nefarious ventures of which most of you are completely unaware. From our fifth-dimensional perspective, we see what humanity has called New Earth. Remember that time only exists in your 3D/4D reality. Also, creation begins within the core in the higher dimensions and moves out into the lower worlds to be revealed in lower and lower dimensions by imprinting itself on Gaia's third-fourth dimensional matrix. From our higher perspective, we see the blue glow of fifth-dimensional Earth with clear blue skies and oceans. Gaia is, indeed, a blue jewel in space. We also see an armada of starships from everywhere in your local universe who have come to observe and assist. We are, as you can imagine, serving a multidimensional service. We have merged our consciousness with fifth-dimensional Earth so that we can enter into the lower frequencies of her multidimensional matrix. The purpose of this multidimensional matrix is to read the consciousness of the inhabitants of Gaia to instantly provide all that is necessary for the life forms of that frequency. We wish you to know that as you return to your own higher dimensional perceptions, you will have the same perceptions as ourselves. However, we perceive from our position on our starship, whereas you may perceive it via the light body you are wearing on fifth-dimensional Earth. We now lower our perceptual focus into the fourth dimension of Earth. From this perspective, we see uncountable changes occurring all over fourth-dimensional Earth. These changes are occurring in different timelines, alternate realities, and parallel realities, as well as within different sub-frequencies of the fourth dimension. As we enter the spiritual subplane of Gaia's fourth-dimensional Earth, we see the I Am presence of humanity and all life. We also observe with loving support as more and more members of third-fourth-dimensional Earth is crossing into the fifth-dimensional version of New Earth. Many of these changes and ascension that we can perceive within the now of the fifth dimension are not yet within your 3D timeline. It is for this reason that your planet still carries a resonance in the third dimension. However, Gaia increasingly tires of the nefarious deeds of the lower consciousness members of her multidimensional matrix, and is ready to release the third-dimensional expression of her matrix. She is aware that there are still many beings that would not be able to attach their consciousness to even the higher subplanes of the fourth-dimensional lattice of her multidimensional matrix. Therefore, Gaia waits. As we lower our perceptions to perceive this causal subplane of fourth-dimensional Earth, we see that many of you, the ascending ones, have completed your Earth lesson of cause and effect. You now remember that whatever you send into the 3D matrix of Gaia will return to you. By learning that lesson, your consciousness has expanded into the causal, and for some, the spiritual subplanes of the 4D component of Gaia's multidimensional matrix. Those of you who have expanded your consciousness to this frequency and beyond are busily creating more and more sections of light on this matrix. These areas of light serve as portals through we, the higher dimensional beings, and can attach our awareness to integrate our consciousness with your fourth dimensional reality. Through these portals of light, we can also send forth thought forms of our starships, as well as actual smaller crafts that we have lowered in frequency enough to be perceptible to your dream state and meditative mind. What many of you do not realize is that in order to enter your holographic third-dimensional reality, we must do so as a holographic projection. Many members of the holographic reality that is attached to their third-fourth-dimensional rungs of Gaia's multidimensional matrix do not perceive us as a hologram, as you are also a hologram. Since your third-fourth-dimensional consciousness has labeled this holographic world as real, you also perceive us as real. We remind you that all third-fourth-dimensional realities are holographic projections from your higher expressions of self. All of you, even those who are playing the roles of the dark side, all exist as one unified consciousness of Earth and Gaia's fifth-dimensional expression. We understand that this information may be very difficult for you to accept. You intensely feel your pain, your happiness, your sorrow, your birth, and your death. Because you have seen yourselves as victims to your reality for so long, You have deeply embedded your consciousness into the lower frequencies where victims and creator are different terms. Many of you have forgotten that you chose to play out situations in which you perceived yourself as a victim, so that you could remember that you are the creator of your reality with your own thoughts and emotions. From your pre-birth frequency in the higher realms, you forgot how deeply the illusions of the third, fourth dimensions merge with your sense of self. Therefore, we and many other members of your galactic family are lowering our resonance to assist you to remember that you are us. When you cannot consciously remember your own higher frequencies of self, you believe that you are trapped in the lower worlds and can only leave it via what you have titled as death. To us, your death is perceived as logging out of your holographic reality and returning home to your real self. We want you to remember that important fact. Now, as we continue our journey through one of the wonderful light portals that you, the members of Earth, have opened, we begin to perceive your third-dimensional world through our multi-dimensional perspective. Therefore, we perceive all of the versions of yourself. We can easily perceive what you may call a string of light that connects all the myriad incarnations that you have taken within your now of some timeline, alternate and/or parallel embodiment on Earth. Because of the great importance of releasing the veils of illusion between dimensions, many of you have taken multiple incarnations in the hopes that at least one of you will fully awaken to your higher dimensional expressions. Our perception of your third-dimensional rung of Gaia's multidimensional matrix is that it is a reality in the process of great change. We can feel this change within our bodies, just as you can feel the great change within your bodies. Your bodies, your earth vessels, represent your direct connection to the planet. Since your small, individual earth vessel is constructed of the same earth, air, fire, and water as the planet, you are a miniature version of Gaia's earth. One of the things that we perceive, and many of you are beginning to remember, is that your fourth-dimensional auras are becoming multidimensional. We also perceive that many of you have consciously or unconsciously activated your multidimensional light body, and on the verge of being able to burst into light body when the situation calls on you to do so. Since your light body is multidimensional, while in that frequency of yourself, you will be able to replicate our journey, but into the higher frequencies. In fact, many of you return to your ships increasingly often. By returning to your higher self while maintaining a connection to your earth vessel, you are able to remain attached to the 3D matrix via your earth vessel, while you also connect with your fourth-dimensional dream time. Once you have taken those rehearsals of returning to yourself, you are often ready to make your maiden voyage to visit your starship on which your light body self is serving to assist Gaia. In this manner, you are able to remain in active duty on 3D Earth while you also continue your active duty on physical Earth. We invite you to ask to be taken home to your ship before you sleep. Or, you may choose to use the power of your imagination to move up in frequency through the fourth dimension to visit your ship in the fifth dimension. Many of you do so on a regular basis. All you need do now is to remember. Call on us and we will assist you. The Arcturians. Channeled by Suzanne Lee. www.suzanneleephd.blogspot.com